My fiancée said, "You'll regret it if you ever leave." So I quietly vanished. She mocked me for years. Now she's broke, jobless, and begging me to come back. I'm 31, working in IT, and until recently, I was engaged to Leah, 29. We'd been together almost 4 years. The first year was great. She laughed at my dumb jokes, brought me coffee at work, made playlists for our road trips. It felt like we were building something solid. But around the second year, things started shifting, subtly at first. The compliments turned into backhanded ones. I'd get comments like, "You'd look good in something less basic," or, "IT is stable, sure, but don't you want to do something more ambitious?" At first, I brushed it off. I figured she was just pushing me to do better. But it got worse. She'd compare me to her friends' boyfriends. David just got promoted again. He took Michelle to Italy last month. Meanwhile, I was saving every cent to maybe put a down payment on a small house. Still, I stayed. Maybe I was too loyal, or maybe I just kept waiting for that version of her from year one to come back. Then came our 4-year anniversary. I'd planned a surprise weekend at a cabin near Lake Arrowhead. No screens, no distractions, just us. I'd even made a little scrapbook of our best memories. Call me cheesy, but I wanted something meaningful. When I picked her up, she was standing outside with her coworker, Eric. I remember the moment like it happened this morning. She looked at me and said, "Don't look so shocked. He's just coming along for the ride. We'll drop him off later." That drive felt like hours. She and Eric joked the whole time while I kept my hands tied on the wheel. No thank you. No appreciation. Nothing. At dinner, she barely looked up from her phone, scrolling through Instagram, liking photos of her friend's engagement shoot. I asked her, "Are you even happy with us?" She looked at me, shrugged, and said, "Maybe, but you'd be a mess without me, so does it really matter?" That hit me harder than anything she'd ever said. Later that night, she drank most of the wine I brought, passed out on the couch, snoring through what was supposed to be our quiet weekend together. I sat outside on the porch for hours, watching the lake, trying to remember what I was even holding on to. What she didn't know was that 2 weeks earlier, I'd been offered a new job, a great one, across the country. I hadn't signed yet. I was waiting to see how this weekend went. That night made the decision for me. When we got back Sunday, she didn't even come home. Said she was heading to her best friend's place. Girls' night, she called it. I nodded, said nothing, and drove straight to the office. Over the next 2 days, I dismantled the life we shared. I broke the lease, it was in my name. I packed the essentials. I transferred my accounts, changed every password, removed myself from anything we shared, booked my flight. I didn't leave a note. Didn't know one. Wednesday morning, she walked into a half-empty apartment, called me 17 times. I answered once. "Don't bother looking for me. I'm gone. You said I'd fall apart without you? Let's find out." She showed up at my office the next day. HR told her I had relocated. She called my mom, who told her calmly, "He asked us not to give out his new number. You should respect that." That's when the panic set in. She went public. Instagram posts about me abandoning her, stories hinting I cheated. A few mutual friends reached out, confused. I ignored most, but to the ones I trusted, I sent screenshots. Her cruel texts. Her draining my account twice. Her mocking my job, my weight, even my mom. By the weekend, the narrative had flipped. People started seeing her for who she really was. And that was just the beginning. A few days after I disappeared from Leah's life, the messages started pouring in. At first, it was all performative. Public posts about how I ghosted her, left her blindsided, how she thought I was the one. A handful of people bought into it, offering sympathy. But when I quietly sent proof to mutual friends, screenshots of her insults, the bank withdrawals, her mocking my family, the tide shifted. She went quiet for a bit after that. Then came the emails. The first one was surprisingly calm. "Hey, I know you're angry. I know I've made mistakes. But can we please talk before you make a decision we can't come back from? I'm starting therapy. I'm taking this seriously now." I didn't respond. She hadn't taken anything seriously for years. 3 days later came another. "I guess you were your father's son after all. Running away when things get hard, just like he did to your mom. I used to feel bad for you. Now I see you're just weak." I stared at that one for a long time. Not because it hurt. It didn't. But because it told me exactly where she still was, throwing darts and hoping one hits. That message got blocked. The next day, she created a new email account. "I swear, if I find out you're seeing someone already, I will make sure every girl in that city knows the truth about you. Don't think I won't." That's when I blocked her new email, too. But I saved the messages. Just in case. I started getting anonymous DMs on Instagram and Facebook. Fake accounts, clearly her, all asking questions, fishing for info. I made everything private and locked down. One of them messaged my sister and called me a narcissist. My sister just laughed and blocked them without a word. A mutual friend, Greg, reached out around this time. Said he bumped into her at a bar and she looked wrecked. Hair disheveled, mascara smeared, talking to herself. She told him I ran away with another woman and that she was going to expose me. He said it sounded more like a performance than a breakdown. The thing is, I did fall apart a little that first week. Not in the way she predicted, though. I didn't spiral or drink myself stupid. But the silence was heavy. Going from 4 years of constant drama to sudden peace was jarring. I found myself waking up early and staring at the ceiling, unsure of what to do with the quiet. But after that first week, I started to breathe again. I walked around my new city with no destination. Took deep breaths without feeling watched or judged. My shoulders finally started to relax. I bought a used couch, cooked meals for myself, and slept better than I had in years. Meanwhile, Leah was still unraveling. One night, a friend from our hometown sent me a screenshot of a post she made, vague and dramatic. Something about emotional abandonment and rebuilding from rock bottom. He just wrote, "She's spiraling, man." I didn't reply. I didn't feel joy or revenge. Just detachment. Peace. That's when I knew I made the right call. Not just in leaving, but in how I left. I gave her no target to aim at. No version of me she could control or manipulate. Just distance and silence. But it wasn't over yet. Not for her. And not for the version of me that was finally starting to live. About a month after I left, I got a call from an old coworker. We'd kept in touch casually, nothing deep. He said, "Hey, not sure if you care, but Leah's been calling the office. A lot." HR flagged it. She had apparently tried to file some kind of complaint against me. Harassment, abandonment, even wage theft, which made no sense. I hadn't worked there in weeks, and I wasn't her employer. HR eventually told her they couldn't help and blocked her number. That was the last time anyone from my old workplace heard from her. A week later, I heard through a mutual acquaintance, someone who'd once been her brunch friend, that she'd lost her job. Too many mental health days, they said. She wasn't in therapy, just skipping work. Eventually, her boss stopped being understanding. She got written up twice, then let go. Apparently, she'd moved back in with her parents. The same parents she used to brag about. The ones who raised the bar and would never tolerate a weak man like my dad. The ones she said I'd never measure up to. Now she was back in her childhood bedroom, working part-time at a retail store in a mall she used to make fun of. The same friend told me she's been telling people I drained her bank account, ghosted her, and ruined her life. But the truth is, I didn't take anything. I didn't empty our accounts. I didn't take the furniture. I didn't even keep the scrapbook I made for our anniversary. All I took was my peace. That was enough. And despite the chaos she tried to spread, I started living again. The job I took across the country turned out to be the best decision I've ever made. My new coworkers actually care about their work and about people. No subtle jabs, no office gossip disguised as concern. Just collaboration and mutual respect. I started hiking on weekends. Not because it's trendy, but because I like the silence. The kind of silence that doesn't come with a passive-aggressive sigh or an eye roll. I started cooking again, trying new recipes, eating food that didn't come from a takeout bag. I reconnected with an old friend from college. We met for coffee once, no expectations, and talked for hours. I sleep better now. Deep, uninterrupted sleep. No late-night arguments about why I didn't like her new photo fast enough. No guilt trips about why I didn't make her feel special. Just rest. One of the last things she ever said to me, during one of our worst fights, was, "You'll never find someone who puts up with you like I do." I used to believe that. Not because it was true, but because she made sure I felt like it was. Now, I realize how twisted that idea was. I don't want someone who puts up with me. I want someone who chooses me. Without conditions, without control, without the power games. Leah wasn't the worst person in the world, but she was the wrong one for me, and staying would have destroyed both of us. So I left, and when she said, "You'll regret it if you ever leave," I said, "We'll see." It turns out, I didn't regret it at all. In fact, I've never felt more certain about anything in my life. So what do you think? Was I right to disappear without warning, or should I have given her a formal goodbye? Would love to hear your take.